Okay, so we just got done with week 6. No, I can't keep up the act. Fuck the intro, we're starting with the Raider game.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm going through a lot of shit right now. Going through a lot of shit.
I'm genuinely starting to worry that my passion for this sport is waning because of this season. I don't know why, but my Stockholm Syndrome is wearing off. I'm becoming more self-aware, and as a Raider fan, that's pretty much the worst possible words that can leave my mouth. Because this game was just another football game, you know, it wasn't anything special, they've all just blended together at this point. Because we fucking suck ass. I still think we played better than most games this season, because at one point in this game, we got a real drive going, and scored a touchdown. Like, 7 points. That's a lot, but then after that, Luke Getsy must have lost his play sheet or something, because that's the only explanation I got as to why he just completely abandoned everything that was working on that drive and fucking tanked the offense for the rest of the game. But like usual, I'm not just mad because we lost a football game. I wish it was that simple, but it's not anymore. It's just at a point now where I've realized I've never looked forward to Raider games less than right now, and I was there for the Terrell Pryor era, Matt McGloin, Bruce Gronkowski. I have that many battle scars on me, but it's just not the same as going to the old gross stadium and being a team that knows it's bad but plays hard. And in Vegas, it makes me sad to see Steelers fans everywhere. Like, we used to not only be a feared team, but a feared fan base, but that's all gone due to greed, and greed. Hell, I'm even getting sympathy from Steelers fans. They feel bad that we don't basically have a home stadium anymore because the two of us have a rivalry that's been happening forever, and even recently we've had some fun games that ended with good over evil, but now that can't even happen anymore. It's just depressing, but it's reality. So yeah, we got demolished in this game, and whatever hope we have left was taken when we had a colossal meltdown in the red zone after a bullshit call, AP not challenging because I genuinely am not sure he knows the flag exists, and after another back-breaking fumble, it was over. So just great stuff all around. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to act like this is the doomsday scenario because this is how it is every week. The path isn't even close to being over. We're nowhere near being good, and I have a lot more suffering to get through. So the main thing I'm just so upset about is this team is so boring. And they were boring last year too. It's not getting any better, so hype for next week.
Intercepted at the goal line!
This game was supposed to be a chess match. The first game between two head coaches, who will hopefully have many more meetings between them, but that is not what happened. I can't really think of a single positive for the Seahawks from this entire game. Geno was shit. The run game was awful. Defense, awful. Coaching, terrible. I mean, this was the most important game of the season for the Seahawks, and they came out and just let the Niners mop the floor with their corpse. Purdy wasn't uncomfortable for a singular nanosecond in this game, and it was just a shutout at halftime, but at the same time, the Seahawks should have been down like 28-0. 0, Kyle, okay? Calm down. I said 0, but the Niners also let Seattle come back into the game after the Laviska Shenault touchdown on the kickoff, who's in the NFL, I guess. That was news to me, but then the Seahawks just kept playing horrible. I mean, the Niners were never in danger in this game because of the Seahawks' just constant garbage play. And after Geno Smith threw another back-breaking pick, like, where the fuck was he throwing to? The game was over. I was a fool. I was a fool for even believing in the Seahawks for a second. They just aren't ready. This game made it clear. They're not there yet, but that's probably okay, you know? This can be a rebuilding year for them, and they have a whole new coach. They still need to get used to their system, so it is what it is. But at the same time, I have matured over the last few days, because in the moment, I was absolutely tweaking in my notes.
My time has come.
Boy, do I love starting my mornings out by just getting punched in the face the second I get out of bed. I mean, what a Jaguars game this was. For most of it early on, at least, this was actually a close-ish game. I mean, I definitely thought this was going to be an ugly, like, 13-17 type game, and it could have been, but the Jaguars remembered that despite at least some talent on offense, they just can't allow themselves to win football games, and managed to bury the second best game Trevor Lawrence played underneath mistake after mistake after mistake. And all game long, the Jags dropped arguably at least 4 touchdowns. And that's not even considering even more of the most brain-dead plays I've ever seen. Like Evan Ingram right here somehow not remembering how to walk forward or something, and he didn't get this first down. And yeah, after this play, it was basically just all Caleb. So while T-Law just sat there and cried because his team around him just doesn't care, Caleb Williams continues to develop. Now, yes, the offensive line still has a lot to work on, but Caleb made some fantastic throws today, and it's just so nice for a young quarterback to have an amazing defense to rely on, because that's honestly what kept this game from being a shootout. Well, that and the Jaguars doing Jags things, because I don't know. I get all the fire Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke discourse, especially with Doug saying he thought the players were fighting well, and then, you know, Andre Sisco was just like, yeah, I don't know what he's on. We gave up. So he probably should get fired, but I don't know. Your position on Tankathon says otherwise, and Dougie is your best path to the top pick, so I believe.
Who the f*** is that guy?
Does anyone remember when we beat the Ravens? Yeah, I don't either. The Ravens are right back to being top contenders in the NFL, and this game was their coming out party, sort of, if it wasn't last week. Lamar played a near-perfect game, continuing to just be the best rushing threat at quarterback and an elite pocket passer. Derrick Henry is the best running back in football right now, and even Zay Flowers is finally having his sophomore breakout campaign, and on the other side of the ball, the Ravens' run defense, which has been elite all year, just completely shut down the Commanders' run game, which has been the engine of their offense and the best in the league. Now, granted, B-Rob was out for this game, which was huge, but, you know, holding someone to 52 total rushing yards in the NFL is never an easy feat. And I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority for what I'm about to say here, but for me, this was the most impressive game of the entire season for Jayden Daniels to me. This was a tough defense on paper that he was going against, and he should have gotten exposed and slowly fell behind more and more as the game went on, but he battled hard in there, dude. I mean, he was just not making mistakes. Sure, he missed like a throw or two, but come on. That's really all you can ask for from a 6th-game rookie, and he ended up keeping the Commanders in it for really the whole thing, despite the Ravens playing out of their mind. And yes, they were always a few steps behind, but being a rebuilding team like the Commanders and almost taking down the Ravens is just, it's nothing to gloss over. So I really think that Jayden Daniels deserves his flowers from this game. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is just yet another confirmation that the Commanders have their guy at quarterback. So there's not really any shame to losing to a potential Super Bowl contender by a singular score. So, I mean, just continue to celebrate that you have a franchise quarterback, Commanders. It must be nice. Damn, man, I hate to say it, but it's over for Will Levis. I don't really think it can be denied any longer. But the dude is just steamy, canned ass. He's not even fun ass anymore. Like, most of last year, he was airing it out, throwing picks and tutties all over the place, but this year, Brian Callahan has just taken the mayonnaise masseuse's spirit and forced it into the homunculus vessel of, like, 2020 Ben Roethlisberger, because the dude is just a boring game manager now, and that just made this game so boring. And even Joe Flacco wasn't enough to save this game from being just absolutely lethal to the eyes, because I really don't know what else to say. This game was abominable. And after Joe Flacco and Will Levis went back and forth throwing terrible balls, fittingly, this game ended on a punt. A punt! And this game was just atrocious, and I don't think going to Mason Rudolph will solve anything, because, like I said, Will Levis is clearly on a leash, but I don't know, dude. Something does have to change. You can't go up against a team like the Colts with one of the worst defenses in football and not even go for 100 passing yards on them, because this is just a fucking mess of a team, top to bottom. All the money they spent in the offseason has amounted to damn near nothing. L'Jarius Sneed has been massively disappointing and got mossed by Pittman in this game, who was already on 1 HP. Calvin Ridley, who spent the whole week pouting and getting angry about a lack of targets, got 8 in this game and dropped every single one of them. It was just nuts. I just don't understand. You spent all this money and it's just down the drain. And now you look ahead on your schedule just to see the Bills and Lions. So yeah, this team that is already bottom 3 in the league in 2 weeks is about to be looking at bottom 1 in the eyes. It's a disaster out there.
Wasn't even a battle. You obliterated me.
Look, help me to understand this. First of all, your center is on IR, right? David Andrews is maybe out for the year, and your replacement turns out to be one of the worst centers in NFL history, and against the Texans defense that is not absolutely unstoppable, but is known for having an extremely fast pass rush that is able to get to the quarterback instantly. You decide that this is the week? This is the week where Drake May should come in? I get it, but I also don't. Because yes, Drake May went out there and had some nerves early on, but in the end, he ended up showing a lot of promise. There is just absolutely no talent around him, and with a lot of linemen and Ramondre Stevenson out for this game, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks in mostly garbage time is not bad at all for a first start against a good defense. So it didn't backfire, but my God, it really could have. You should be thankful that Drake May already just doesn't have his spirit crushed. And meanwhile, while the Drizzard was doing his best to just not die out there, turns out when Joe Mixon comes back and is healthy, the Texans are right back to being an elite team and added another blowout win to their collection that AFC contenders need to have in order to be respected. So yes, even with CJ Stroud not being a superhero, the Texans just keep rolling on. And even without Nico Collins, too. It was just another impressive win versus a terrible, terrible team. So, keep it up, Houston. I'm impressed.
I just wanna rolly with a dabberage.
Spencer Rattler's debut was just starting out on fire. It looked like the Bucs were just going to absolutely bury the Saints, which would be perfect for Spencer Rattler. He could have garbage time against backups and really get in a groove. That would be cool, but then the Saints just started on a roaring comeback. 27 points in the second quarter. I mean, good Lord, Bucs, how do you fuck this up? But then, led by... oh my God, it was so fun to see. Led by the greatness of former Raiders first-round pick and standout safety Jonathan Abram, just getting stiff-armed into the void and blowing coverages over and over again. The Bucs came rallying back and ended up just burying the Saints in the third quarter, led by some amazing defensive adjustments by Todd Bowles. And I don't know, I just gotta say this real quick. Todd Bowles has been amazing the last, full year. Ever since he was getting calls to fire him early last season, the dude has been absolutely amazing at adjustments and has proven that he is going to be a head coach in the NFL for a long, long time and is up there with some of the best coaches in the league. So I just got to give the dude his props. So yeah, led by Jonathan Abram and his incredible crusade to throw the game, the Saints just got absolutely blown out from then on out. But I don't know, I think it was pretty hilarious to see Saints fans' narratives change 4 different times in this game. It started out with, hey, why didn't we start Jake Haener? I mean, he looked pretty good in that Chiefs game for 1 drive. But then, after Spencer Rattler went in there in the second quarter and started balling out, it was, wait a minute, hold on, Spencer Rattler isn't just the future, he's the now, motherfuckers, and Derek Carr needs to be benched forever, because Spencer Rattler is low-resolution Mahomes, bitches. And then, when that started to fall apart, then the Saints were like, okay, maybe we need Derek Carr. Maybe Spencer Rattler's not ready yet. And, yeah, it just kept going back and forth, and I don't know, dude. At this point, I feel like the Saints' defense is damn near their bigger problem, because they just allowed 50 points. 50 points! And yes, I do believe with Antoine Winfield back, though, the Bucs are one of the NFL's best teams, so it's not something you should be super ashamed of to lose to the Bucs, but 50 points is 50 points. And I know they didn't allow 50, but anywhere near 50 is a crime. Fire Dennis Allen, please. Uh-oh, the Cardinals are broken again. God damn it, Kyler. Can you just, do something this season? I know it's not all his fault in this game, and he didn't look terrible for the most part, but it's just I don't know, dude. I had huge expectations for Kyler, and all he's shown this year is that at the very best, he's going to be one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the league, and I don't know, it was just the same old with the Cardinals. It was a disgusting performance in the first half, and even though they had a small window to come back in this game, they just absolutely blew it with penalties costing them over and over again. And Meanwhile, Jordan Love was absolutely popping off. The dude threw for 4 touchdowns, and once again, this is exactly how Matt LaFleur would love for all Packers games to go. Jordan Love just gets them a huge lead early on, and their absurdly talented wide receiver room just demolishes opponents, and then they can lean on Josh Jacobs in the second half and just kill clock to end the game out on a comfortable note. And, you know, that's what happened. So, good win for the Packers, and Arizona, I don't know, pray for good health for Marv, because he got hurt after doing nothing for like the 3rd game this year. I don't get it, man. This offense needs help. They need something to change. You hearing this, Tom? We are 6 games into the NFL season. 6 whole football games. And the Cleveland Browns haven't broken 20 points a single time. Do you know who has broken 20 points a single time through 6 games? The 2017 Browns. And they didn't win a game! Why? Why is Deshaun Watson allowed to roam the streets free? How many weeks in a row can I just say this and nothing happens? Yes, Jameis probably will not solve all your problems, but god damn it, man. How do you let plays like this fly? Watch them on film, analyze them with the team, and think to yourself, yes, Cosby is the guy. He's the quarterback who's going to revive this season. I know for a fact he's getting benched, and that's why it's just so baffling to me that they're not doing it yet, because he will be benched at some point this season. Jameis Winston will see the field, so just why not do it now? Why not try to save your season while you still can? Because I don't know. I don't think the Browns' defense is still that bad. You might as well just try, right? Oh, I don't understand. But the funniest part is they almost won this game without an offensive touchdown. The Browns have just been one of the worst offenses of all time, and they were in this game because of the defense and special teams, and also the Eagles just being absolutely garbage because they were rough. Defensive breakdowns all over the place for the Eagles, and at one point they made Deshaun Watson and the Browns offense, that was 0 for 25 on 3rd downs, look competent. And in the end, though, they managed to squeak it out, and Nick Sirianni was just, he was having a ball. Dude was taunting Eagles fans after beating the Browns by 4. I don't know, dude. He also just had horrible clock management throughout this game, so I don't understand. Somehow the Eagles won this game, and I feel 10 times worse than I did 2 weeks ago about their season. What a terrible, terrible football game this was. Revenge is truly, truly a beautiful thing. This was... wow. Wow, Dallas. I expected a Lions win, and, you know, I did expect the Dallas Cowboys to keep up a little bit, maybe lose the game by like 15, but good fuck, man. Good fuck. 50 points? You had to blur out the scoreboard on Jerry's birthday? Holy crap. How do you lose a football game this badly? Like, genuinely. Not only was it just an absolute blowout and a moral defeat too, but the Lions beat them so badly. Ben Johnson just started doing things for the memes. Seam route to Taylor Decker and a hook and ladder to Penei Sewell. Those are things I have never seen in a football game. And they were clearly petty as hell from last year, and I don't know, I kind of get it. And I do understand that injuries have played a huge part in Dallas being a terrible football team, but hey, I called it. And basically with this Cowboys team every week, if Dak isn't just the best player on the football field, they will not win it. And, you know, the Lions did win, but as we all know, this game came at a cost. Aiden Hutchinson's season is most likely over, and that is just a brutal, brutal loss for the team. He was probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year, so it's so sad to see injuries just continuing to take more guys. And, you know, as the Lions said, the next guy up is going to have to fill that void, but it is going to be almost impossible for them to do that. And no, you can't have Max Crosby. He's mine.
Holy fuck knuckles, I am high as a kite right now.
This game did not feel like a 1 p.m. game whatsoever, but I don't know. To me, this kind of felt like it could have been a textbook trap game for the Falcons, but the Panthers are so bad, it doesn't even matter. Yes, the Falcons defense was getting roasted, which was a little bit concerning. You know, allowing 20 points to the Panthers is never anything to celebrate about, but the Falcons offense was just absolutely cooking again. And the most encouraging part about the Falcons' offensive game plan for this game versus last week was they proved that they can kill teams in the air and on the ground. Tyler Algier and Bijan were amazing all game long, and the Falcons' offensive line was just playing bully ball. And this wasn't a blowout per se, but the Falcons were in command for the entirety of it, and after the Panthers couldn't capitalize early in the fourth quarter, yes, the game was just over. And still though, 0 punts, even against the Carolina Panthers, is amazing. And if they can keep this up, then, I don't know, maybe I was a little bit wrong about the Falcons. Maybe they can be one of the best teams in the NFC, and it's so weird for this Falcons team to be like a good fourth quarter closing team and have an absolutely amazing offense again. This has really been a weird NFL season, I'll say that.
Didn't see Jim Harbaugh going into the blue medical tent.
Well, yeah, this game is over in the second quarter. This Broncos offense is one of the worst comeback offenses I've ever seen, and also one of the worst watchable offenses I've ever seen. It's just, Sean Payton, man, I don't know if you have it anymore, dude. His mind seemingly is just stuck in 2007, and Bo Nix has been playing terrible in the first half, 3 for 10 and a pick at halftime with 22 yards is abysmal, and somehow not his worst first half of the season, but it really does just feel like the dude is a puppet for Sean Payton, and they really need to let him off the leash more, because when they're playing from behind and just letting him do his thing, it seems like he's playing like a pretty solid quarterback, but they just don't give him that opportunity. And meanwhile, they also just committed way too many turnovers to even be able to beat a mid to bad team in the Chargers, because Justin Herbert was playing pretty well, J.K. Dobbins was going, and the defense was doing a good job for the Chargers too, so, this was just a textbook Chargers-Broncos game. What else do you want me to say? Boring as hell. What the fuck? Why is this a primetime game? Who the hell wants to see Bengals-Giants? Ugh. The Bengals aren't Super Bowl contenders anymore, and we know it, but I guess this game was a little bit encouraging for them. It was a defensive battle for the entirety of it, which is exactly what the Bengals want to hear, but I don't know, how many props do you want me to give you when you shut down the Giants offense without Malik Neighbors still? Because this game was so boring. It's just, ugh. Joe Burrow was very uncomfortable as the Giants were able to get a ton of pressure on him throughout the entire game, but meanwhile, the Giants offense couldn't do anything because Daniel Jones is not good at football and they're not healthy whatsoever. When the offense runs through Darius Slayton, you have almost no chance, and Joe Burrow ended up running for a 50-yard touchdown, and it turns out that was the only score that needed to be done to be able to beat the Giants because they can't hit a field goal. Greg Joseph is one of the greatest double agents I've seen in the last few years, and after Chase Brown's walk-off touchdown for redemption after almost fumbling the game away, the Bengals got an extremely uninspiring win. I mean, what do you want me to say? The Giants are bad, the Bengals are bad. Just turns out the Giants are a little bit worse.
Rodgers gets pounded.
We all just witnessed greatness. Pure greatness. If you watch this Monday game live, you already know what's up, but this was just a truly once-in-a-lifetime experience. But for everyone else who didn't watch this game, where do I even begin? So the game started out on just an eerie note. I don't know, just something about seeing the same teams, Jets vs. Bills, on Monday night in MetLife as 1 year ago with Aaron Rodgers playing. I don't know, something just felt off. And sure enough, the football gods gifted us the most weird game of the season. That will not be topped, I think. I don't know. It was a pretty normal-ish game early on. The Jets offense looked way better with Broncos legend Nathaniel Hackett demoted to popcorn eating duties, and the Bills were keeping up with the score. And then the second half happened, and my sanity just drained from my head along with my brain fluid and went down into my socks, because what the hell was that? The second half had a missed field goal off the crossbar, a missed field goal wide, and then we got another field goal off the crossbar too. It was fun times for all. And meanwhile, we were just getting drowned by penalties. Absolutely drowned. Like, this was a near all-time level penalty game, which stopped the game like every 10 seconds, making it feel like the end of an NBA game, while every single commercial break, we were forced to watch this goddamn Peyton Manning commercial, man. I can't take it anymore. And that's not even talking about the best play of the entire game, when Aaron Rodgers did it again. He had another Hail Mary that just kept the Jets in the game, but in the end, the Jets just fucked up way too many times. And after Mike Williams slipped and probably suffered another career-ending ACL injury on grass, he lost the wrestling match for the ball, and truly, one of the great games ever played was over. There were 11 penalties in this game for each team. I mean, that's bonkers. And that really was the only thing keeping this game from being the best game of the year, damn near. But I don't know, man. I feel like we all just need to take a moment to appreciate that we're still watching Aaron Rodgers in 2024. Like, seriously, I made this mistake with Tom the last few years, but just be grateful the man pulls plays out like these out of his sack still every now and then, because we don't got many left, so just appreciate that he's still out there slinging the rock. But before we go, you know what time it is. It's time for the Tubfrog Discord Awards, where I turn to you, the people, to see what you thought were the best and worst plays and players from Week 6, and without further ado, let us begin, because I asked what you thought the best play from Week 6 was, and it was an absolute blowout. Aaron Rodgers with another Hail Mary at the half to get the Jets into the game still. It was so vintage. It was beautiful. And then I asked what the best game was from Week 6, and I only put up 3 options because this week was pretty mid overall, but Ravens-Commanders took it, and it wasn't very close either. It was kind of the only good game between 2 good teams, so yeah. And then I asked what the best individual player performance was from Week 6, and I sure as hell didn't expect Sean Tucker to be up here, but Jared Goff played another perfect game, and the Lions just absolutely buried the Cowboys. And speaking of the Cowboys, I asked what the worst team performance was from Week 6, and the Cowboys did it. They managed to dethrone the Browns for the first time in like 4 weeks, so congratulations to Dallas and Jerry. Happy birthday to the old fuck. And then I asked what the worst individual performance was from Week 6, and Deshaun Watson got it again. Yeah, someone on the Browns has to get something, I guess, and Deshaun got this one. And then I asked what the best Pitbull song was, and there's so many options. I could have added so many more, just absolute 12 out of 10 songs, but it ended up going to Fireball, so, you know, take that for what you will. I'm not saying I don't agree, but whatever. Anyways, if you like this video, then subscribe, because I got a lot of videos on the channel just like this one. And if you did like this video, then watch this video I did a few days back on Josh McDaniels. Yeah, if you couldn't imagine, I got pretty mad. And thanks to all my Patreons for pledging $1. It truly does mean a lot. But anyways, until next time.